this time.
So far, so good. We'll see.
All right.
You like James Harden? You don't have the internet.
James Harden doesn't have the internet. Teej doesn't have the internet. Welcome to a One Take Podcast, episode 173. We are joined this week, as we have been many weeks, but not in a while. We are joined by Mo from What We Watch. Thank you so much. This week we were reviewing Challengers. We got one, guys.
We got one.
Again, that's like 2 out of the last 3 weeks. We got one.
We're back up.
Yeah. Dumpuary is over. We're heading headlong into blockbuster season, but we got some tasters here with Challengers. How do we feel? How are we feeling about the cinema as a whole right now?
We are back.
I feel so alive. We've never been more back. Zendaya saved me today.
Zendaya saved cinema.
This year, kinda.
She's in the 2 best movies of the year. Zendaya, she is her. I saw someone slandering Zendaya this week before I saw this movie. We need to stop that. We need to clean that up off the internet. Elon needs to take care of that. We don't need none of that.
Never allowed.
She is her.
She's been her.
What is happening with my computer? Anyway, Challengers came out this week as you're hearing this podcast. It is, I think, now the #1 movie in America after this week, but we'll play Guess the Box Office game here in a little bit. Challengers, rated R, 2024 movie. Tashi, a former tennis prodigy turned coach, turned her husband into a champion. But to overcome a losing streak, he needs to face his ex-best friend and Tashi's ex-boyfriend. It has a 7.8 on IMDb, a 83 Metascore. Stars, as we've been saying, Zendaya, Mike Feist, and Josh O'Connor, and that's really it. Including
there's only 3 characters.
There's 3 characters, and then like Zendaya's assistant, I think, is the line judge,
the swaggiest line judge that has ever line judged ever.
Yeah,
not even close.
So that has been. I mean, there's really 4 people that talk, I think, in this movie. If I'm counting, no, 5 if I'm counting correctly.
Don't forget the date lady and the lady who was the judge of the juniors match.
Oh, right.
That's pretty
6.
much it.
Yeah, 6.
It's basically like the daughter has a line. Like there's basically 7 people talking.
We got a Dunkin' Donuts ad in the middle.
We did. There's a lot of
ads.
There's a lot of
ads.
A lot of SpawnCon in this. Directed by Luca Guadagnino, his follow-up to Bones and All, which came out 2 years ago. And it will probably be his most celebrated movie since Call Me By Your Name. But I digress with that one, and Tej has thoughts on, I imagine, Luca Guadagnino's filmography. But yes. I'm going to hopefully pronounce this right. Written by Justin Kurtzkes, I believe is how you pronounce his name. Sure. His first feature film. He is married to one Celine Song, who, if you don't know, wrote Past Lives.
Big throuple vibes from that household.
So good.
Huge throuple vibes from that household.
I think they're trying to tell us something, but maybe we can talk about that later. I don't know. Anyway, that just not so subtle hinting going on in this movie. Do we want to play Guess the Box Office really quickly? Reportedly a $50 million movie to make.
I'm going to guess 33.
I'm going to go 25.
Okay.
What's this game?
Guess the worldwide box office that this has made so far. It's a $50 million movie, and it was released everywhere. So what do you think it has made worldwide?
I can't play. I already know.
Oh, well, Dex, you hit it right on the head. It was $25 million as of Sunday. So I believe
they can make more money next weekend. There's gonna be a good word of mouth. They're gonna make some money.
Yeah, I don't know what the tracking is going towards, but this could easily be $100 million film. So
yeah, I agree.
Interesting to say for sort of like an art house project for a tennis movie, I guess. I don't know. I just incredible work. So I think Mo.
No, she's still there. She just turned her video. She's still there.
Okay. So Challengers, I believe my computer is messing up. I believe it had really good ratings, like 98% on Rotten Tomatoes. Let me see again. Live podcasting. Folks.
87 Metacritic, too low.
Oh, really?
Too low.
Well, if you know how Metacritic works, that's like an unbelievably high score for
Too low.
Metacritic. 87% on Rotten Tomatoes, 76% audience score with its trio of outstanding performers volleying their star power back and forth without ever dropping the ball. Challengers is a kinetic and sexy romp at court. So,
did you say 87% on Rotten Tomatoes?
From critics, yes.
I know I'm going to sound like Monique here, but that is, who are the 13% of people that were like, you know what, not into this movie? Like, it's not like great movie or not. It's like watchable movie or non-watchable movie.
3 out of 5 stars.
That's insane to me. This is not
They don't get bitches. That's why.
That's facts. That's what it is. You're right, Monique. Now
they just don't get bitches. If you don't get bitches, you may not like this movie. It's
That's facts. She's right.
You know what? Fair and valid.
But like you did it and then you got it. So I mean,
how about you challenge yourself to get some bitches? How about that? Anyway, yeah. All right, Mo. With that, go ahead. What do you think of this movie? Give it a rating and review, please.
Man, again, aside from those of you that may not get bitches, I am so excited. I mean, if you think about what this movie is about, it's about two potentially bi-curious bisexual boys, and it's like a coming of age story almost. So it's like shout out Luca with Call Me by Your Name, and also like that like through line there. And then but you have Zendaya, like the movie star of 2024. You have Zendaya.
Period.
And who's played tennis? Like, I know this is like a special great podcast. So like you have 50% of people at least that play tennis. Do y'all play tennis?
No.
Like I played for like 1 year in middle school, but
I took a tennis class at Baylor.
Okay, so outside of our very special what we watch one take, combination. Like most people, like, how do you sell tennis? Like it's Venus and Serena that sell tennis. It's a series of other people that like do absolutely phenomenal. Like, how do you get people to watch a tennis movie? You get Zendaya in it. And so I don't know, like we're just talking like real romance, real mess, real fun, real tennis. Even if you've never played it before, a football movie is going to sell, a basketball movie is going to sell. How are we going to sell a tennis movie? Like, you know, how much do you watch it? So it's like, I'm so excited about this film because it's literally about tennis and a throuple. I guess we keep saying that term. These are not things that like everyone may be excited about. And I say confidently that everyone that watches this movie is going to have a fucking good time. Shout out to Trent Reznor. Full stop.
Incredible.
What are we saying right now?
Incredible.
Trent Reznor, as a person that is obsessed with sound effects and sound design and soundtracks and film, that is like the heart of film for me. Wow. Fucking wow. Every bit of dialogue. That fucking music, the music cues, insane. Like I will listen to that soundtrack separately from the film and enjoy it on its own. Like it's fucking incredible. So that's how I feel. I mean, I know we're going to get more into it, but I am so confident that everyone, whether you are into tennis or not, whether you're into bi curiosity or not, if you have ever gotten bitches, if you've ever been in love, if you've ever played a sport, and see, because it's not really about tennis, right? It's about playing a sport. It's about having a relationship. And if you've ever had any of that in any capacity, you'll enjoy this movie, which how fun is that? Like, that's so much fun. So yeah.
Little something for everybody, but
would you rate it?
Yeah.
A++.
Oh, wow.
Damn.
Double A+. Wow. All right.
Perfect movie.
Perfect movie.
It is.
We're getting the 5-star perfect movie approval.
Perfect movie.
Unbelievable. I love that.
Pace, runtime's perfect, soundtrack's perfect. Everybody's performances 8 down. Loved it.
Love you something as much as Atticus Ross and Trent Reznor love house music.
Man, they were going crazy, bro. They might be the MVPs of the movie, and it's a very good movie. But the score is mind blowing. I watched it for the second time today. I enjoyed it even more. What they're doing in the end of the movie, what they're doing with the score, and the way that they kind of stage our last scene that we won't talk about yet. That score was going insane. I was levitating in that movie theater.
I wanted to jump out of my seat. That shit was so
good. Dex was literally floating. He was a SpongeBob meme going like.
I was sitting on the back row, like by myself. It just was fucking just going ham.
The whole movie is no, go out there and win. Like every bit of dialogue can be reduced to that, and the soundtrack went crazy every time. It's like, yeah, go out there and win. Yeah, no, you better beat him. Yeah, no, I love you more. No, I love you less. No, it's like the whole thing was just that. Like like you said, like 5 people spoke, Royden. How many people spoke?
Like, yeah, I think we know
6 had like
names.
6 or 7 had like front facing lines to the camera, and then like her mother would like whisper stuff to her about her daughter.
The daughter did have one
pancakes.
line. The daughter had one line.
The daughter wants to watch Spider-Verse. And great taste on that daughter. Great taste.
The daughter was like, "Mommy, can we watch Spider-Man?"
Yeah, which is like
A+. Great
Luca,
job.
Luca, what are you doing?
Yeah, we know.
In this movie about threesomes, how are you going to take a shot at Tom Holland about that?
No, she didn't say Spider-Man. She said Spider-Verse.
She said Spider-Verse.
Yes.
She didn't say Spider-Verse. She wasn't talking about.
She didn't do the meta thing of Zendaya's in that movie. She said Spider-Verse.
That's like what?
That's still
you
too
knew
close
what you were
for me.
doing.
That is like a coin flip away from being meta.
Correct.
That is meta adjacent.
It's a hair away. The line.
I think this is just Zendaya, who is a producer, admitting that her Spider-Man movies, as good as they are the inferior Spider-Man movies of our time. They just are.
Or it's a cartoon.
Do this right now.
Or it's a cartoon.
They just are.
I mean, I agree, but I'm just saying, like,
Hey, the Spider-Verse is the Spider-Man movie for the iPad kids, is what we decided in this movie.
Yes.
It is good. It is good.
We've gone too long now without getting Teej's opinion while he's still on this earth with us.
God, let's pray. Let us pray.
Let us all pray. Pass the plate around. He's had like it just inside baseball. His Wi-Fi might be the worst on the planet on like the
It's
western
been going crazy for
seaboard.
the last couple of weeks. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I also don't ever have issues any other time other than when I'm doing this pod specifically. It's insane. It actually makes no sense.
So it sounds like he's like
trying to silence us.
It sounds like we've been putting him in a microwave for like 3 years. So it's just like it's unbelievable. Anyway, Tej, you said perfect movie. You've seen it twice, I think.
I saw it today in IMAX for the second time. I just think this movie is hitting on every level that you'd want a movie to hit on. The cast is good looking, and I heard Sean Fennessy say this is a very sexy movie, especially if you like skinny people. That is true. There's a lot of like not raunchy nudity, but a lot of body parts that are up close and personal in this.
So many legs.
There's so many legs, so many
legs everywhere,
so many abs. It's also a very phallic movie. The male characters, it really sunk in with me today how often our male characters are eating phallic things. They're each hot dogs. There's the churro scene that's going to become an instant classic. People love the churro scene.
Dicks. So.
There's all this sexy eating going on with our male subjects. Obviously, our director is a gay man, and so you are seeing this movie from that perspective of these two people. You're put in this world in the beginning of this movie. You're immediately watching tennis, and I never realized this, even though I love watching tennis and I love playing tennis. Tennis is cinematic as fuck. Dex put that in his Letterboxd review. I literally said the same thing walking out of the movie theater. Tennis is so fucking cinematic. There are so many ways in which they shoot the tennis. On second watch, I really realized there's a shitload of tennis in this movie. It's not just a tennis movie. There's a lot of actual tennis being played in this movie. So you're seeing it from all these different angles and all these different perspectives that differ based on where our storyline is. And rooting our storyline in this one tennis game and giving us the information that they do with all these flashbacks, there is a version of this movie that's extremely confusing. But they are fonting you when they're putting you in the past and the beginning. Towards the middle of the movie, they stop fonting you because you already realize where you are in the story by what they look like, by what they're wearing. by their hair. Like they do a good job to where you get enough physical cues about where they are in time that you stop thinking about the timeline. And I noticed that the first time, but the second time, it really made sense to me. It coagulated in a way like you don't actually need to know where we are in time. You just need to know what versions of themselves they are at the time you're seeing them on screen. And when they're splicing them together quickly between tennis shots, that's just a really smart way to design a movie. There's literally one fade out in this movie. There's one. Everything else is a cut to a scene, a cut to a piece of tennis, a cut to a scene, a cut to a piece of tennis. And it's not that linear, but that's basically the setup of the movie. An amazing way to set up a movie. Our three leads are giving such incredible performances. I had never seen either of these two men in anything before. One of them was in West Side Story, but I don't remember him. The non-husband was in West Side Story, but I don't remember him.
No, he was. The husband was in West Side Story.
Oh, the husband was in West Side Story.
Mike Feist played, I think, Raph or Riff in West Side Story. Who is
now that you say that, I do recognize that. And
I think he's like the best friend of He Who Shall Not Be Named in that movie.
Yeah.
Oh God, I forgot He Who Shall Not Be Named.
Baby Driver.
Okay.
Baby Driver.
Sorry, I took us off. So I didn't remember him. So this was really my first experience with these two men. Zendaya, obviously, I'm over the moon about her. She's phenomenal. She's great. This is her movie in a way, but in a way, it's all three of their movies. And I think the way that the plot sets up, which I'm sure we'll dig deeper to the plot going forward, they're all kind of the bad guy. Like they're all kind of villainous in their own ways. Right. And so there really isn't a good guy, bad guy dynamic in this threesome. There's more of like different people are bad at different times for different reasons. And I'm going to steal from Dex again. It feels like they're all grounded in their horribleness about why they're horrible. We know what's at play in their lives that's making them act in the way that they're acting. The husband character, the first time you see him on screen with Zendaya, there's this longing that he has for her that you could tell there's like a push-pull and she's not reciprocating it. Like he is reaching towards her emotionally and she is just like tennis. That's all she fucking cares about. She's asked in the movie directly in the middle of a sex scene, are we talking about tennis right now? She says, we're always talking about tennis. All of this is tennis. Like everything is wrestling, everything is tennis. There's no such thing as no tennis. We're either talking about actual tennis or we're talking about things that are tennis adjacent, which makes them tennis. Like
Zendaya never breaks kayfabe.
She never breaks kayfabe. Her facial expressions in this movie are mind-blowing. Her physical performance is good. Her shoulders look great. Her arms look great. And she's got to do really hard work in these tennis scenes. And I didn't believe that there wasn't a ball there. I had to say, wait, that's not a real she's not actually hitting a tennis ball. No, she's just swinging the racket. But it looks so real in the way that the tennis is filmed that it feels so.
Was all of that CGI'd in?
Yeah, the ball is, but she has a double as well. Some of the shots are the double actually hitting the ball, but when you see her swinging the racket, it's the ball's not there. She's swinging the racket.
She looked believable. I'm just saying, like my appreciation of all of these actors would have gone up tenfold if they were all like
the ball.
That good.
Yes, they were good. Like no, they were focused on the physical acting part, but they weren't actually hitting the ball. But you can't tell watching the movie. Like you literally can't tell. It looks so real that it looks like they're really hitting the ball. I loved all of our performances. Obviously, the score is mind blowing. It's so propulsive. It builds the drama. It builds the tension so well. This movie kind of makes you vibrate in your seat. Like there are moments of this movie that are just operating on such a high level with our performances, with the way that it's being shot, with how smart the dialogue is written. I think it's a very, very well written movie. The way that they give us the pieces of the information is extremely well done. And the way that we have these nuances and the way that she interacts with the two men that are different from the beginning as we're going up the ladder, she interacts with them in different ways that lay the foundation for their later relationships. I just think it's a near perfect movie. That being said, I have a major issue. And my major issue is that this fucking trailer, I had said this on this podcast before, this fucking trailer has too much information in it. We should not know that she hurts herself. We literally should not know that. There's a scene in the very beginning of the movie where there's a close-up zoom on her scar on her knee. And we know what that scar is there for because we saw the fucking trailer, and that shot and the way this movie's introduced works so much better if we don't know, A, that she got hurt, or B, that she was hurt. She was the Serena Williams ascendant. She was
you have
to the next big thing.
You have to set that up in the trailer that she was that she was a god. Otherwise, like the relationship, her manipulating this relationship doesn't make sense at all. Like, why are they falling for this girl other than that she's Zendaya's
Look at
beautiful?
her.
Well,
It makes perfect sense in the movie.
Here's my thing. First of all, trailers, not my thing. I hate them,
I totally agree. I love a good trailer. Y'all are
Also-
tripping. But
Brayden, here's my thing though, Brayden. Real quick, Brayden.
Don't tell me nothing about the movie.
Why do you love trailers? Just tell me why you love trailers.
because I like trailers. I don't have a reason. Like, why do we like candy? I don't know.
Because it's sweet and it tastes good and it
Yeah,
fresh.
I don't know. I agree that if a trailer is like, yeah, you didn't have to tell me that she broke her knee in half in the trailer. Like, that's fine. But
If
I'm
you're
just
going to have such a great first 20 minutes that Challengers is, where they beautifully and delicately placed everything you needed. She sits purposely with her knee up, holding her knee that doesn't have a scar shortly after you see her knee that had a scar. If you're paying attention and watching the movie, he sets it up for you that she got hurt within the first 20 minutes. So you're already like, huh, she had a scar? She didn't have a scar. And then you find out with the men how like they got into it and how they were attracted to her. It makes sense. She's a girl that plays tennis. That was part of the movie. Like that was part of the journey is what I call it.
my whole thing is though, I know. I'm just telling you, they need people to watch their fucking movies. So like
I told Tej this the other day. Have you seen trailers for TV shows? They're so fucking good. They show you a bunch of snapshots. Obviously, we can't compare TV to film because it's so much more content, so much more time. But they show you a bunch of rapid snapshots, and they don't let you sit with anything. We don't know she gets hurt. We don't need to know she gets hurt. We don't need to know that in the trailer. That's not necessary.
That's
Show
fine,
her-
but you're saying like all trailers are bad for movies. I'm just saying.
I don't think all trailers are bad. I said I hate them because
Okay.
there's a high risk of them saying too much. We get the moment, show a snapshot of them kissing her, show a snapshot of her playing tennis, show a snapshot of them kissing each other. Boom, you got a movie there.
Why is Zendaya's gonna have a threesome with Zendaya's gonna have a threesome with two hot white dudes? That's literally not enough to sell a film. Like I feel like
that's what sold the film. I'm not saying that the trailer was poorly edited, that you didn't need that thing. I'm just saying that some trailers will get me still to watch a movie. Now I'm so in the weeds that like I was going to watch Challengers with or without the trailer, but I'm just saying they exist for a reason to get you to watch the movie.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying
they existed to ruin my life.
Yeah.
They ruined my life.
Business of trailers is totally understandable. Duh, marketing. But they said, wait, first of all, and it's not that there was one trailer. You know how many trailers there were for this movie?
They're like 4. Yeah.
There were like 3 or 4. And they all said way too much.
Yeah, I was gonna say my rule is say no to second trailers because like if you like the teaser, that's all you need. But even the teaser for this movie gave away so much.
Even the shorter version of it. We have like 3-minute trailers for this movie. This movie speaks for itself, is all I have to say. But
that's
go
fair.
ahead.
That's
go ahead,
fair.
Dex. Go ahead.
Dex,
and they made a shitload of money because holy shit, were there a lot of ads in this movie. Everything is in the middle of the screen. Everything is zoomed in on a logo. There's Uniqlo.
It's all Wilson and Cartier, and
there is so much advertising in this movie. It doesn't take away from it, but holy shit, it's there, and they're not trying to hide it. I gave this movie an A+.
Okay.
The Dunkin' Donuts one did kind of take me out for a second. I was like, what are we doing, guys?
No,
let's be serious.
The first one, wasn't she wearing, I feel like she was wearing Nike at one point. Wasn't there like a Nike check like sitting right on the screen in the very beginning? I think it was in the very beginning. And then it like was Uniqlo the rest of the movie. And I was like,
yeah.
They got Nike, Adidas, Uniqlo, like
Wilson, all the shit.
Dunkin' Donuts.
Dunkin' Donuts.
You know what takes me out? This is
Aston Martin.
But like, you know, like
multiple
times. all the like in a sports movie, all of the like sporting equipment, I would prefer that you have the actual brand sporting equipment for a movie. That doesn't take me out at all. Like get Nike in your shit. Like we don't need
we're used to watching sports.
Yeah,
so
that's fine. What takes me out of like any movie is when a restaurant or food is in the movie. Like Applebee's, while playing a role in this, I'm just like, Jesus Christ. Like, I'm just like
not you shaming Applebee's.
Apparently, there's a real story behind that Applebee's.
Apparently, right?
Yeah, there's a real story behind it because I felt the same way watching it. I was like, Why are we seeing? We're literally looking at Applebee's logo center shot. Like, why are we doing that?
Look, nothing can be worse than the Godzilla versus Kong Volkswagen. So
it can't.
That's true. It can't get lower than that.
Tolerance level is different now. I'm like, you know what? As long as you don't sit there for 11 seconds.
We're all used to SpawnCon now, like in our media, but it just something about like, oh, enjoy a nice cold Diet Coke, and I'm just like, oh, and the character's like, oh, thanks. Like it's just like that. That is what takes me out of movies right there. Everything else is fair game, but they're just like, that's delicious. Thank you.
Stares at Dunkin' Donuts bagel. Yeah. You hungry?
He looked at that bagel like it was the most delicious fucking sandwich he had ever seen, bro. That longing was real. That was a great commercial for Dunkin' Donuts.
I'll tell you what, Dunkin', sponsor the podcast. We will do the exact same thing.
I'll sit here and eat a Dunkin' Donuts bagel on cam like every fucking episode.
Oh, this don't taste like cardboard or nothing. That's crazy.
Dunkin's never sponsored.
One Take Podcast runs on Dunkin'.
Yeah.
Runs on Dunkin'.
Dex, go ahead.
I love this movie. I'm obsessed with it. Everything about it is just fun and sexy and just messy in all the perfect ways. It's like it rides that line of like campy, unrealistic, Gossip Girl-esque drama that I need, that I crave in life. I need the Real Housewives of it all. You know what I'm saying? I need for every minute to just be like, Art Donaldson or whatever his name is the worst person in the world. No, never mind. Paul is the worst person in the world. No, never mind. Tashi Duncan, undisputed worst person to ever live. Holy shit. Like, and every new piece of information that you get about these three people, you're just like, someone goes from being like the worst person you can possibly imagine to being someone you're like kind of rooting for a little bit, because like what the husband, I think Art is his name.
Art.
He at the beginning of the movie, you're like, this guy's kind of a sleazeball. Like, you know what I'm saying? Dirty Mac Hall of Famer. Like, you know, It is what it is. But you know, as the movie goes on, you're like, I mean, I get it. Good for him. And Zendaya is fucking cucking this man crazy. And then
I'm in.
It's insane. Paul also,
Zendaya cucks this man crazy. I'm in. Let's see it.
She cucks him crazy. I don't know what other way to describe it. Paul, awful man. But I get it though. Like, you got to get your lick back. Like, you know what I'm saying?
You can't be talking about a girl like saying she doesn't love you like that. All right.
Gotta get your lick
back.
Love
you like that. It's nasty.
Then everything that Zendaya does in this movie is absolutely unhinged. No real person would ever act this way, but I think she makes it work. And like I said, it's like the Gossip Girl of it all. No one would act like they do on the original Gossip Girl. I haven't seen the new one. I don't know what they're like, but you know, she's fucking Blair and Serena at the same time, and it's incredible.
It's incredible.
This is the content that I need. Like we kept mentioning, the score is incredible, and like Teej said, tennis is just so cinematic. Everything about it, the back and forth nature of it, like just gives you so many great opportunities to just make incredible shots. Like all the shots of like the audience, just like their heads turning, watching the match or whatever, just feels so dramatic because you're like, you know, the stakes as the movie goes on. And like they switch to like drone shots, they switch to like a GoPro shot, they switch to like, it's like you're in the ball. Like, you know what I'm saying? They do so many, you're under the court. There's so many different ways that they shoot the tennis, and all of them rule, and they're fun as fuck. So yeah, I loved everything about this movie. I can't wait to watch it again. Zendaya, top 1 leader in the clubhouse for worst mother of the year, and can't wait to see what other talents are
easily.
I give it an A-.
She likes tennis more than anything, more than her own children.
Worst mother of the year, easily. Like, there's no competition yet. It's April.
Better mother than she is wife, but like,
Only barely.
Barely. I don't know.
I don't know. She said, "You want to watch Spider-Verse? Okay, take your ass over there and watch Spider-Verse."
He
Go
said,
Grandma.
"We're
I'm
watching
sitting here.
Grandma.
I'm
We're
watching
talking about
Daddy
tennis
lose
right now."
tennis.
I'm watching.
Her daughter said, "Mommy, you're always talking about tennis."
You're damn right, and I always will be until the
Damn
day
right.
that I
Now go watch
die.
Spider-Verse and shut up.
Why do you think we don't stay in the Hampton Inn? We're staying in the Ritz because of that.
Because this is about tennis. All right,
Yeah.
it's too damn bad.
It's too damn bad.
Too damn. I'm tired of this, Mom.
We need the Challenger sequel where their daughter becomes a tennis prodigy, and she ruins her life. Can't wait.
Swag.
Oh my! I can't wait for Challengers again.
Challengers 2, back to the court.
Back to the court.
Yeah.
There you go.
Let's see. I think a lot of this movie is incredible. I'll lead with what my wife said when we got home. Her few word review about this movie: grow up and be an actual throuple. Just do it.
Yeah, that literally is the solve of this movie. Just be a throuple. Everybody wins.
Yeah, exactly. She said, "Grow up and be a throuple," and I thought that was incredible. But no, I think that having not seen Luca Guadagnino's work, I just missed "Call Me by Your Name" when it was the smash sensation of 2017, apparently. But like, I have missed that. I missed Bones and All, and some of his older work. So this is my first real introduction to him, and apparently it's a different sort of Luca Guadagnino movie, so I'll be interested to go back and look at some of his older work and compare and contrast. I think the three leads obviously are awesome. It is Zendaya's movie. She was paid $10 million to make this movie. Get your money, queen. Like, the movie does not work. Yeah, exactly. This movie does not work without Zendaya. I'll say that. But my favorite performance is Josh O'Connor, and he makes this movie go a million miles an hour.
Which one is he?
Patrick.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, the dirty, sleazy one. I think he gives this movie something that without his performance would be lacking, in that you have a real just like shit heel smirking asshole. And I think that really the counter to why does will mommy ever love me art is like really, really great compare. And I'm not saying that like Mike Feist didn't do a really good job in the role that he had. I just think something about Josh O'Connor like popped off the screen to me in this, and especially the way that because Zendaya's demanding the screen, obviously just the way she looks, the way how much of a star presence she is, but him going toe to toe with her, like especially like the car scene and some other stuff just going. The bedroom scene is the big one, but like him going face to face with her it's from just all time acting this year, and I really appreciated that. Where I detract a little bit from the movie, I know we're kind of like really seeing these things prices, and I will. Where I detract a little bit from the movie is like you learn the character motivations a little bit later. Like Zendaya's character is a sociopath kind of from the word go. And I guess it's what we know of peak athletes, that they are all kind of like a little crazy. That's fine. But I would like to have known a little bit more about her, about like what's driving her, other than, and maybe you don't need it because it's such a fast-paced movie, but like what's driving her other than the need to succeed at tennis. Why is that driving her? And also like what's sort of driving the characterization of art to need to be loved in this sense, and like necessarily like why is Patrick kind of a douchebag? Maybe he just is like he's a rich, like apparently he like comes from money. They say some of that in the background information, like in the exposition that they have between the characters. But part of me wants to know like what is driving Zendaya to be this just a piece of shit sometimes. And
the D is obviously driving her to certain decisions. I mean,
well,
she's attracted to this asshole guy. She likes that. She likes his confidence.
Yeah. And so for a movie, and also for a movie that is about sex, it's very sexless. It's a very sexy movie, but almost sexless, which is crazy. And it uses tennis as the literal metaphor for sex. It couldn't be spelled out more on the screen. And in fact, Zendaya's like climaxes are in
Tennis
scenes.
Yes.
So it's like it's using that as the metaphor, which is a great way to perform that, I believe. And I don't think like you couldn't do this with golf, you know? Like I don't know like what other sport lends itself this way to the back and forth nature that they're trying to go for, obviously. I think like you said, like we've all said, tennis is a cinematic sport that has been represented on screen before in this way. I'm not quite sure. Somebody get in the chat and let me know like if there's something that uses it to this effect. There's so much cutting. It's stylish almost to a fault. At points, it does threaten sometimes to like lose you in the hecticness of it. He overcomes that with then interslicing moments of characterization of people talking, but it will at points threaten to be like, oh fuck, like where are we? Like it will do that. It did at points use the basically the header of like where we are in time, and that will help an audience. I got up to pee one time during this, and I came back and I was like, what happened? Like where? Yeah, like where are I know?
You got to watch this movie again. You can't go up to pee during this.
I know.
You cannot go pee.
You
cannot.
Apparently,
go ahead.
No, apparently I picked a part which was great, and I got back before all of the Atlanta stuff happened. So like, but I didn't know that they had transitioned to Atlanta yet, and I was just like, okay, what? Like, so yeah, I'm not detracting points from that. I'm just saying it's like it threatens to lose you in the timeline a couple of times, but other than that, I think this is the type of movie. It feels like a very 1990s movie, like it's out of time a little bit. Especially with
and the score does that. It's like the score feels like,
but also just the story.
You'll watch a movie that's like in an 80s mall or whatever, it'll have that score. So it's like
somebody put the score over The Matrix that came out in the 90s. And it works perfectly.
It works so well.
Yeah,
it works.
Yeah, it feels out of time in that way a little bit, and I'm glad that it does because this is a movie that you would have gotten 5 of in 1998, and I think a lot of people are like lamenting the fact that we don't get those movies that much anymore. But he gave us one, and so I appreciate that. Just do they need a fourth? You know, like
big mood. Okay, here's my thing. Can I speak now? Because I like what she said about.
Go ahead. Yeah, I gave it. Y'all have convinced me. I'm at an A-. I'm gonna continue to think about this movie for a long time. I initially texted y'all. This is an unserious movie, and I loved it. It's
amazing.
It's very unserious, and I loved it, which we need more of that. Anyway, go. Oh, sorry.
I agree. First of all, the timeline jumped everywhere, back and forth over the net like the ball does for tennis.
Yeah.
I didn't really appreciate that probably until halfway through the movie. I think supers, are they called supers? I think.
Yeah.
They're like super, they feel like crutches to me sometimes. I don't love them. And this is why I know that I'm giving this movie such a high rating, from the trailer doing too much to the supers that I usually hate. Like, don't use a super. Show me a scene to show me the time is changing. Like, and then also just like the sexless thing I'll get into. But there's so many things that I generally won't like if a movie's not this fucking good, but it's just that fucking good. So it doesn't matter. Throw me to everywhere. 1 week ago, 2.5 days ago, last night, 7 years later, 13 years. It was everywhere, just like the ball is on a tennis court. So I was like, okay, I actually fuck with that. But I'm going to say these two things, guys. I have a lot to say. But I think that tennis is not just cinematic. I don't think that's the word we're looking for. I think it's intimate. And Ava DuVernay said this about just how we film basketball. She loves watching basketball games because how intimate it is, because there's 5 people and we get to see the emotions of the character of the players on their faces and stuff like that. Yeah. And I love that she said that, because you don't get that in football. You don't always get that in soccer. Like, You don't always get that in the Olympics and track and swim. Like, you don't always get that. You don't always get to see the emotions in their face and sit there and they're sweating and you're waiting for a timeout or whatever. And so tennis gives you that. The word is intimacy, I think, is what we're looking for. People keep saying sex and sexy and sexless and, oh, is there not enough? As a woman that, I won't say I've been in this situation, but I won't say I have. No. As a woman, I think it's perfect. They don't need to be a throuple. You know why they don't need to be a throuple? Because she doesn't give a fuck about them, and it works. In a throuple, there's some sort of care constantly, and Zendaya's character doesn't have that. She doesn't give a fuck about either of these men, but there's an intimacy involved, and so I think that's what this movie is, and I think that. I love that we bring up Celine's song, because if you watch past lives, sorry, slight spoiler, very not sexy, but it's also sexy, but it's intimate. This is a very romantic thing, and there's very little touching in that film. Very little touching. Mm-hmm. The characters are barely fucking touching each other. So, but here we get a lot of touching. We get a lot of intimacy with the tennis, again, with the shots and everything. But I think that's the term. This is a very intimate movie. That's why T just saying, or I think Dex said it, like, you're vibrating in your seat. Whoever said that, like, you feel like you're in it. You want to stand up. You feel like you're floating, because it's that intimacy that even in a marriage, even in a throuple, you hear about married people saying that they're not intimate anymore, right? You hear about people that are like, oh, I don't have as much of this. It's not just sex and penetration and like being together. It's the intimacy. And so the Luca gets it. As my fellow Italian, we get it. I'm talking as a woman. I'm talking as an Italian. We get the intimacy, and Luca does that in Suspiria in 2018. He's the director of that film, a great film. Everyone watch that. You know, Call Me by Your Name. It's intimacy that we're getting here, and that's what like really drives how beautiful this film is. And I think with the villainy that people keep talking about too, I think, of course, I'm the resident like villain girl. So, I mean, a villain apologist. I don't think anybody's a villain. I think people keep saying that, oh, well, you're an asshole and they're an asshole. Nobody's the villain. Everybody is a piece of shit, which means no one's a piece of shit.
That's fair. It's all a
piece of shit. I hear people saying like Zendaya is the biggest villain. I'm like, no, she's actually not. She's just a girl. Like Zendaya's just a girl.
Not just a girl.
She kind of is.
Girl.
In a way, she is.
I'm a woman here. Let me speak as a woman. She's just a girl that really likes tennis. And girls still have like needs sometimes, but she really likes tennis. That's why I love what you said, Royden. She climaxes with what? Hitting the ball, with seeing the men that she likes, doesn't even really give a fuck about, but likes. She likes them. She has a child with one of them. That's super intimate. So it's like, but then they like hug over the end. Like, I know we'll get to that scene, but that's my point. That's my point about the throuple. That's my point about tennis and intimacy. And that's my point about the villain. No, there's no villains here. The villain is fucking losers. If you lose,
the movie is literally Zendaya being like, "That's you," because you never won anything.
That's you. You know why I fucked your friend? Because you lost today. That's why you about to lose. And so the real villainy here is: are you a champion? Yes or no? I don't think anybody's a villain, but you might go on.
Her backing up and like letting them two go at each other is the most villainous shit I've ever seen in a movie in a long time.
And she's like enjoyed it.
Yeah, and the look on her face when she backs up, like the look on, which is in the trailer, which is another shot that shouldn't be in the trailer. Look on her face when she finally puts them together is one of pure fucking joy and ecstasy. It is a perfect facial expression. She doesn't have to say anything. You know exactly she's gotten exactly what she wanted. Right after that, she literally stands up and says, "Okay, I'm leaving." She really got what she wanted.
Villainous
this is
shit.
what I wanted. I'm good.
I just said it. I'm good. I'm out.
Yes, I'm good. I'm leaving. Like the way that she controls these men, and obviously, you know, it would be harder to film it in a way where a man is driving this. So having her not only be driving the boat, but also, you know, the way that they're both acting, the dynamic between the two of them. We haven't even talked about this part yet, but the dynamic between the two guys. There's obviously like a alpha beta kind of situation going on. They keep implying that the piece of shit guy has a big dick. It's implied like 5 times. She literally says it to him after they have their big fight. She goes, "You're attractive. You play tennis. You have a big dick. Just go fuck somebody else." Like they keep implying that this guy's got a big. He's well endowed. When he comes into the sauna, which is probably my favorite scene in the movie. The sauna scene is incredible. I was jumping out of my seat the way that he was talking to that man.
Really got you going.
Just two
guys with their dicks out, chit chatting.
First of all, their dicks were out to each other, but we could not see their dicks. I could not see their dicks. He walks in. He goes, "Can you put your dick away?" And the husband says, "You come in here waving your dick around like I'm supposed to be afraid of it." That's literally a line of dialogue. So they're trying to establish this like alpha beta thing when they're having the talk with Zendaya, and she goes, they have this really interesting way of introducing the fact that these guys had intimate moments before she got there. She didn't force them into a moment. She more of loosened the wheels that were already spinning. At least that's how she would explain it, right? They had already had experience before. That's told in a very funny way. That one of them, the sleazy guy, taught the husband guy how to masturbate. And, it's like, wait, what do you mean taught him how to masturbate? Well, basically they masturbated in a room together while they were talking to each other about a common love interest, right? They're talking about a common love interest, but they usually have different types. But in this moment, they're talking about their common love interest, who happen to, by the way, get hurt and not be able to play tennis anymore. Foreshadowing. That's put right there in the movie. But anyway, they have a common interest. They talk about their common love interest, and they both come together. That is a very erotic experience to have with one another. So there's obviously some bit of y'all have had some sexual interactions with each other. You're friends, but there was this one moment where y'all had a very intimate sexual moment.
They're also doubles partners. Like that's it's all implied.
Like
so it's like
they're very physical with each other throughout the movie.
Yeah, they like hugged each other at the end.
They're touching each other a lot. Like they're very intimate with
they're
each
like mounted,
bodies.
dude.
Yes.
Winning that doubles tournament.
I love how we found out how they had these opportunities to be like intimate when they were doubles partners, because you think they're competing the entire movie, but it's like, no, at one point they were together. And I'm like, they were together on the court, but they were like, maybe they were also together, which is so cool.
Zendaya, as she said, is
so stylish to do
and that's why she's the villain.
I have to ask.
Said, "I don't want to be a homewrecker," and then was a homewrecker. She said it herself.
Who's hotter to you guys? Who's hotter? Who's hotter, Donaldson or Zweig? Who's hotter?
Patrick.
I said that first too. Teach.
I think the one that's supposed to be the better looking guy is Donaldson.
That's not what I asked. Who's hotter to you?
Neither one of them are my type. But I would say the husband is a bit more conventionally attractive. But I totally understand why she was attracted to both guys, which is the most important thing. As the viewer, I have to know why she likes them. And I saw from the beginning her initial reaction was to be drawn to the husband, but I saw why she liked the kind of very uber confident other guy.
It's very easy. I'm going to tell you why but Dex, who's hotter to you? Who was felt like if you're watching the movie and you're casting this movie, you're like, all right, we need a hot guy and we need another guy. Who's the hot guy you're casting?
I'm going to straddle the fence here and say that in the current timeline, the husband is hotter. But when they were younger, the other guy was hotter.
Oh, I like that.
Okay. And I think I had that journey in the movie. Like, I was like, no, Zweig is definitely hotter. He's hotter. And then later I was like, oh, no, when you do a close-up, he's not that hot. Then I was like, oh, he is hotter. Here's the thing. As a girl, sometimes you're just a girl. And you're just a girl in this world that wants an Adidas, partnership. Mm-hmm. And just a girl that loves
tennis. Gave her the worst nickname of all time, by the way. The Dunkinator, that stinks.
The Dunkinator's terrible.
Absolutely.
They have jokes. But sometimes you're just a girl and you have one guy that understands the emotional side of you and you have one guy that understands the sexual side of you. And you can't get them both in one man all the time. That's all I'm going to say. Sometimes you can't get them all in one man. And that is what this movie is about. She doesn't really give a fuck about either of these men, but she likes what both of them give separately. And I think the movie did such a good job of not saying it outright like I am right now, but that's okay. They showed it. That's why they made 17 comments about his penis. Why do we need to know about his penis so much? You had a child with the one that isn't talking about penis this entire time. So clearly there's some sort of like sexuality and like success there. But it's like, no, he's the gentle part of her, right? That she doesn't get out. Like the guy, Patrick Zwei's dialogue in the back of the alleyway. That was so random. Why are they in the alley at that point? I guess they were hiding from everybody. But that dialogue spelled out everything. You don't actually like him. You just like that he loves you. And no one has ever really loved you, and you don't really love anybody. So he represents that for you. And I give you the best dick of your life. You've never had better dick than me. I can't even win tennis matches. I can't beat your husband, but I have better dick. And as a girl, that's a real thing.
Well, she can't beat her husband. Her husband had never beat him.
Yeah. It should just be called Challengers, or how Zendaya manipulated her gay boyfriends.
She just challenged them to figure out, like, why do y'all not like each other anymore over me? I don't even like y'all like that.
She literally told them when she first met them, hey, the one who gets my number is the one who wins the match. And what did she do? She immediately started dating the guy who won the match. She lives her rap. She told y'all, she told him, you can beat him.
like that.
But if you do not beat him, I'm going to date him. Like we're going to be together. She was not playing.
Not allowing people to be who they are. That's one match. Like I could play multiple matches, but tennis is what? Multiple matches in one game. And so she's like, no, one match is good for me. I'll know who I need to be with. And what did she say that whole time too? There was like 3 references to you usually lose in round 2. She said that to Zweig. Her whole life, even relationships, are a game to her, which is so cool to see. Like, and I think it is Luca, outwardly and gay. Is that you said that pretty confidently earlier, Teach? Is he?
Yes, I'm pretty sure that he's gay.
Okay. So, and I think that that's why it colors her relationship with sex and intimacy and tennis and these 2 men so beautifully. Like he gets it, she gets to be powerful like that. She doesn't have to be in love. She doesn't have to be in a relationship. And she's not a villain for that necessarily. Now she is a villain for setting her 2 men up, but that's what she wanted to see. And they both love tennis. So did anybody really lose? No.
She did literally set this up to have them play each other. Like literally this was her design the whole time.
This is a very feminist, womanist movie. It is.
He literally says, you set this whole thing up to embarrass him, right? And she's like, yeah, but not this part.
Yes.
I wanted to embarrass him a little bit, not this much.
And I think it's beautiful. I think it was a beautiful way to end the film and show that, like, this is not about anybody's, personal experience with tennis. This is only about how much she likes tennis. It's not really like their relationship with tennis was very sub to if they can fuck her or get them to be in love with her. And that was so cool. They love tennis too, but they didn't love tennis.
Jonathan didn't have that dog in him. He didn't love the game no more.
Yeah. You can tell that they wanted to be tennis players. They thought that was cool. She wanted to destroy people.
Yeah.
She spent her whole life being like, I'm just going to just fuck up every girl that they ever sit in front of me. Like, I'm just going to dominate her and ruin her life.
Did y'all notice
was the girl? That one girl, yeah, and then she became like the GOAT.
She became the Wimbledon champion.
Yeah, and that sends in the movie. That sends her into a spiral that spoiler alert, she cheats on her husband or her fiance again. Yeah,
oh.
so
my favorite scene was the racket scene.
Dude, I love that so much. I was literally like watching that scene, being like, "Do the thing, do it."
Yeah, everybody in the theater called it from a mile away. Like it was just like,
do the thing, and then he did. And I was like, yes!
That
come on.
Part of the collaboration understood that everyone in the audience was going to know. They like edged us the whole time. Like
it was literally
4 scenes, and they just like got real granular in like the relationship. It was so cool. I loved it.
Okay, so sports brain here, real quick. Obviously she's Zendaya beautiful. Obviously, she's model beautiful. She was a national champion and junior champion in 20 years ago in the context of the movie. If she's a front-facing coach, I kind of understand, but it also
she wouldn't be on that billboard.
That's what. Thank you. The long way to say, like, would she be as famous as she is to be like signing autographs in the audience? Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh my God, you're this best tennis coach. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going up to like Tiger Woods caddy and being like,
I bet you people do.
yeah, some people
Probably
do,
do.
but
If they look
I
like
think-
Zendaya, you would.
that's where you suspend disbelief
That's
because
making
she
too much
is
That's a good
Zendaya
point.
still.
That's a really good point.
I
She's
don't.
still-
I think what we were also to understand from that is that money talks, because
Yeah.
we got a few bits of dialogue there where it's like, okay, you just want to be a rich couple that just sits by the beach or whatever she said. There was a couple more where I think that might have been a money talks thing. Like, I made money so early in my life and I put it into a foundation and it keeps going and growing and everything.
Yeah.
Like, if I want to be on a fucking poster in this city, I will be. Where were they in? Rochelle? What is the name of the place?
New Rochelle.
New Rochelle, New York, which was filmed in Atlanta. Like,
Right.
And also, it's like once you get to a certain point as an athlete, like your wife will also be famous. It's like
that's fair.
LeBron and Savannah James, like they're gonna be on billboards together.
Yeah,
They're
like
gonna
you're
take this
hot,
money.
you were famous at one point, you made money at one point, and you're the wife of somebody famous.
Apparently,
Or like
Roger
Russell
Federer's
and Nina
wife.
Westbrook
Money
is like a
talks, money
better example. Like
Fair.
Nina Westbrook was a hooper at UCLA. She wasn't ever like, like some WNBA like legend or whatever, but like she was a
You
hooper.
might get a
now.
couple of like autographs every now and then.
Yeah, like now, like she's married to Russell Westbrook, and everyone's like, "That's Nina Westbrook. She was cold as fuck in UCLA." Like blah blah blah. Like
Love that comparison, Dex. Yeah.
Yeah. I've heard that, and I was like, that is kind of a. I was talking with Kaylin on the way out. I was like, how famous are we led to believe that she is personally? You know what I mean? Like separate from her husband.
She had that shit on during. She went to
She
a
had tons of
challengers
fits
match
on, yeah.
with that shit on. A literal challengers match where everybody is just random dudes that are pulling up, and she had that shit on like she was at Wimbledon in the middle of the front row.
She had her Chanel on her feet. I said, okay, girl, period.
A lot of Chanel in this film. A ton of Chanel in this
Go
film.
ahead, girl.
We were talking about it before you got on, Mo, and I just had to say this, and this is not a spoiler again because it's in the trailer that she hurt her knee. We talked about it at length. Her hurting her knee is the most gruesome thing that I've ever seen on film, and like I've seen John Wick where he like blows dudes' heads off and stuff, and I'm still like that made me cringe more than anything that I've seen in any horror movie ever.
They showed her knee moving before it even snapped. Like it's gnarly. It's gnarly, man.
And also, they scared the shit out of me when they like start zooming in on them, like sliding at the end. Like,
Yes, at the end they do the same shot. Basically, you're like, "Oh, is his knee gonna explode?"
and they do it again. I was like, "Is his knee gonna explode?"
I think as an athlete, that's why it's worth running. Are you an athlete? Were you like
I played basketball and I like I've torn my knee and stuff a couple of times, and I'm just like,
no, I have great knees.
I had to.
Shut up, teach. But that's why, like, I looked away too, Ronan. I'll watch some horror shit. I'll watch some heads get sliced off. But knee injury in the middle of a game, I'm like, no, God.
It's like horrific. I don't know what it is, and I think it's maybe because like I know that I'm not gonna get my arm chopped off. Hopefully, like walking down the street. But like if you take one wrong step and your knee blows out, you know what I mean? Like that can happen.
And we've seen it on TV in real life. I've seen it in real life happen to like people that I know.
And like the sound they used for it was just.
Tennis is weird like that too because they are just sliding around the court the entire time, and I'm like, how does that not happen all the time?
She was so tense when she was playing that game because she had just got in an argument as opposed to doing her hour of meditation. She was arguing with Patrick, and so playing that game, she was extremely tense. The look on her face was just like totally different than the other tennis scenes because she's so tense.
Can we get into the Twitter mess part of this? Like, how you gonna fuck the man that is the reason why you can't play tennis no more? Because
that's insane.
That's nasty. The reason why you hurt your leg is because you were so mad at that man.
I'm not blaming him for her blowing out her shit.
Yes,
I ain't blow out your
I
knee.
absolutely am.
I'm blaming him.
I'm blaming him.
I do gotta say though, Art immediately pivoting to
Dirty Mac Hall of Fame.
Dirty Mac Hall of Fame.
That's nasty.
Art was your homie walks in and you get out, dog.
Get the fuck out.
Goated.
You will never see it done better. To Knight in Shining
Armor. You'll never see it done better.
He went from Dirty Mac to Knight in Shining Armor to husband. That real rapper, I like that. Good for you, Art. You dirty Mac your way into a child. That's exactly.
Can we talk about the most villainous thing that happened in this film? So in Atlanta, we see that there's a sequence where this is the first time we know that she's cheating on her husband with Patrick, because there's a scene where he sees them downstairs at the lobby, but then they disappear. And, she says, he looks at the ring and she goes, it's his grandma's. She died from a stroke. And then all of a sudden they start making out. Like, it was crazy nasty. How fast it happened.
That's nasty.
But the next morning at practice after that, Patrick shows up to see them doing practice, and he's still wearing her shirt. So he sits in the empty stadium where they're practicing with her shirt on after he fucked his wife. That's insane. That's insane behavior.
And I disagree with you. I think it was his shirt and she had it on, and then he put it back on. That's what I think happened.
No, it was her shirt. Like
I told you,
she got that shirt because she was wearing it when they went to the bed scene.
You wear your man's stuff. When you like your man, you wear your man's stuff. You steal a hoodie, you steal a shirt. I think it was his shirt.
No, the I told you shirt came from in college. It goes all the way back to college.
Yeah, it goes back to college.
When they got the argument, she put on his white shirt and he took her I told you shirt and still has it like 5 years later.
He still, when he pulls up in Atlanta, he still has the same shirt and he wears it. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I missed that.
He's wearing the shirt years later. Like years later, he pulls up wearing that shirt. Years later, in Atlanta, he still has the shirt.
I thought it was his. I thought it was his the whole time.
No, that was hers. He literally pulled up wearing her shirt after he just fucked that dude's wife. That was insane. But the scene.
Let's not gloss over how he fucked his wife too. That's also very nasty. All right, we're in the middle of what is a third of a tornado. I don't know what it was.
Well, he did it twice, but yeah,
he did it twice. Atlanta, he does it, but then he does it in New Rochelle again. And
I'm talking about New Rochelle.
She left the Ritz-Carlton to go be in his RAV4
to fuck her
in his Honda Civic, and they just like
this man has $70 in his bank account.
in a 4-door in a third of a tornado. I would be devastated. I would lose the tennis match too. I'd be like, you know what?
That man won 6 majors to have his wife walk out in the middle of a storm and sleep in a beat up, dirty RAV4 with no spare tire on it. That man made all that money for his wife to go do that in the nasty ass car.
Listen to what I'm saying. That's insane. Luca, you messy motherfucker. No, who wrote it? You messy motherfucker.
Yeah. That's
this
insane.
Man was on Tinder looking for a place to stay. And then the wife.
That man was about to lose to make $400. He was willing to lose to make a little quick $400. And the powerful woman sitting on the Aston Martin Challengers poster went and fucked him in the storm.
She fucked him right below the poster. Right below. It's right above her.
Y'all gotta watch her women, man. That's crazy. That's crazy to me.
Y'all be safe out here.
Patrick was on the billboard looking down into the car, ashamed of everything that was happening.
Jack, go back to you. Definitely worst mother of the year. Because what if
she comes back? She comes back and they're
in the bed.
In the bed with their daughter. Like, yeah, being a good dad.
You out cheating and he's being a good dad. That's insane.
That's the one time where it's like she had a bit of consciousness throughout, like conscience throughout. Well, she came back and it was a moment.
A moment where she probably felt bad, and then it went away.
And then it was like whatever.
Was like this.
Yeah, that's why I know she's like a true sociopath. No sympathy whatsoever.
Zero.
Can we talk about the way that? What's the other? I know that Patrick is the skeezy one. What's the other guy's name?
Art Donaldson.
Art. So when they get into that sauna and Patrick's being an asshole, smiling at him, I just want to wish you good luck. The way that can you imagine? Like let's say somebody who's a champion. So let's say like Michael Porter Jr. There's this random dude he was friends with in high school that amounted to nothing, who never played in any big tournaments, who never went to any big college, nothing. He amounted to nothing. He pulled up in the sauna and was talking shit because he knows that he just fucked your bitch in a dirty, beat up RAV4, so he can talk to you however he wants to. And you start talking to that man. He said, oh, I don't matter. He said, you don't even matter to someone who's obsessed with tennis. You don't even matter to my wife.
Obsessive tennis fan.
And he said, I'm just stopping by. You live here. He talking to that man crazy. He started barring that man up.
I want to drive this point home further. Because this sex scene, I was hurt as a good person, as a good woman. I was hurt She not only fucked him, they cuddled.
They did.
Mm-hmm.
They did.
They cuddled and had the steamy Titanic sex moment. All right. I didn't.
In a dirty, beat up RAV4.
In the
In the middle of a fucked up parking lot with Dunkin' Donuts cups flying around the car, I was like, "This."
After she spit on him, and he was into it.
Spit in his face.
Not spit in his face in a sexual way. Spit in his face in the storm. They were still outside in the storm.
Nah, you got to shoot him. You got to kill him.
We have
no
to
other
be serious,
recourse.
guys. If I'm writing the rest of that, I'm like, nah, we can't. We have to have a little bit more here.
They hugged it out.
No way.
They hugged it out.
Mind you, this is right after she told him specifically, I'm going to leave you if you lose. Like, is that what you need to hear? She was living her raps once again. She was not playing. If you lose, I will leave you. The stakes are the same.
Something even further home. Before she fucked him, she said, please let him win.
She didn't want to leave her man. I'll give her that one. That's the one thing I'll give her. She ain't want to leave her man.
Give her that.
Money talks. Money's too good.
Yeah, I'm not going to believe with your broke ass. I can be broke.
Ew. Yeah.
Cheating is a very trite thing to me in film. Not this time. I was like, no, you got me here. This hurt my heart. This hurts me. This 15-minute scene is destroying me right now. My guy is about to play a tennis match or lose his bitch and probably do both. This is crazy to me.
Have you ever seen the stakes where somebody's losing their bitch if they lose a match? You've never seen that in your life because this is real cinema.
I was devastated.
Imagine if LeBron was playing in Game 7, but he was going to lose his wife if he lost the game. That's crazy.
He was going to lose his wife to Steph Curry.
To Steph Curry. Steph is going to take the championship and his bitch home with him. That's insane.
No, Steph makes way too much money. We'd give her a little bit.
It cannot be Steph. It has to be like
a G League player.
A G League player. A G League player is going to take your bitch.
That played his last season in like 2021.
Who's that fucking old dude like from the G League who showed up and played
the Lakers? Yeah,
the Lakers.
He was like a history teacher.
His name is Ingram. His name is something Ingram. Imagine if LeBron one-on-one. He said, listen, if I win this game, LeBron, I take a spot on the team and Savannah, and you can take your ass to the G League. That's insane.
And you know how I know? Because she came and fucked me in the RAV4, and she spit in my face too, and we cuddled afterwards, and it was very steamy. That's crazy to me. I can't.
And you hug it out with this dude and then grow up.
Grow up.
Let's talk about the ending. So obviously, we have our longest volley of the movie as our last shot. First of all, the last scene itself, you see in excruciating slow detail every point through the tiebreakers. He shows him that he fucked his wife with the sign. Like, this scene is like 20 minutes long.
They show like the way he filmed it, which was obviously they do POV. They do POV of the ball getting hit back and forth, and then they do like it's like they're standing on glass basically. I think
it's like underneath them,
which was unbelievable how they shot that. But like them hitting the ball, the POV of the ball going back and forth, I was like, oh my god. Like,
and then it transitions into a drone shot.
It's crazy.
Like Father Stretched My Hands was playing as like that started to, and I was just like whoa.
He's letting the beat build like a Kanye production here. Like,
and the score is just going so crazy during that last scene. It felt like the movie has built to this moment, but the score has also built to this moment, and now we've just let off all the guardrails. Now we're fully in a club. With the score, we're fully like unts, but also the cinema's going crazy. It's just
thought you knew the pace. Like we thought, I don't know. I thought the movie was going to end like 3 times in the last 20 minutes, and they just kept they like cut every time. I was like, this is good. This is good. Keep giving me more.
Edging. It was literally edging.
So they go to a tie break, and I don't know. Like the sports brain in me left going like, how the fuck who won basically, but like. It doesn't matter, but
it matters to me.
It matters to me a little bit.
One was Zendaya because she had an orgasm in the movie.
Come on.
Yeah.
In the movie.
I've practiced that, by the way.
All-time yeller.
Yelling come on like that for the rest of the year.
Just like the white dudes yell, "Let's go!" Like it's just like,
come on.
So basically, they have a back and forth volley basically at the net, and then all of a sudden, Patrick kind of lofts one over the net, and Art comes through and is trying to slam it down. I think he maybe hits it or not. It doesn't. You can't see. The ball comes down in the background, but Patrick catches Art, and they embrace like they did after they won doubles, and they're smiling at each other. But dude just fucked your wife. So like, I don't know.
So like, you lost, but you won.
How much did you really win? Like what? Yeah.
You won, but at what?
You got your buddy. You got your buddy back. You know, I don't like. What's the the winner is Zendaya because yes, she literally comes at the end of the movie. But like, but it is. What did y'all think about the rest of that?
My man is gonna go win the U.S. Open. He's gonna do it.
Google if you like touched the net. Because he like was on the net and he hit it over and the ball definitely go on the other side. So we definitely can. If we research the rules of tennis, I'm sure we can find out who won. But I don't want to do it because I like how it ended. And you did? Okay. Well, I'm willing to hear it. But what we watch, Pillar, is that every film is a romance. And that end of that last shot showed you exactly what it was. We got them hugging and we got her metaphorically coming and screaming in
really
joy and bliss and ecstasy. And it was just, that is how the fuck you end a movie. I don't know what it is. I am so true.
I mean, it's literally, he ended it with an orgasm. Like literally, she has an orgasm. Movie over.
Fair enough.
Like in the movie.
I don't know why. I think I'm very triggered by movie endings. I think I've been burned enough when it comes to movie endings.
It's the hardest thing to do in movies, like legitimately.
It is very difficult, right? And as a filmmaker, I'm just like, oh God, please get this right. Please get this right. I did it with Civil War. I did it with the last like 5 movies. I'm like, oh, and they did it. They nailed it. I mean, Luca and Trent just nailed it together. It was beautiful.
I will say the whole thesis statement.
Movie end.
The what?
Yeah, the whole thesis statement
ambiguous.
Of this movie, the whole thesis statement of this movie is that Zendaya just wanted to be in the corner watching in the hotel room.
Of wire, hun.
Yeah, exactly. She just wanted to be in the corner and watch. That's fine, and to each their own. But that's exactly what it is. Like
13 years in the making.
Whether they're kissing or hitting balls over nets or hitting balls with each other. That's what I want to see is Zendaya. Yeah.
She literally just set that game up so she could feel something. So she won because she got to feel something. She felt nothing inside.
Neither of these men are enough for her, but tennis is enough for her. And if she puts them on that court, then she'll be happy.
I got to tell you, this is going to be, and this is kind of my last thought. We could talk about this movie for another hour, I think, but like this is going to be my parting thought is that this is going to be a inflection point in a lot of people realizing their sexuality going forward, a lot of young people. So congratulations to you. If that, for a lot of people,
what is this movie rated?
R. So like
you'll be R, right?
Yeah. So they'll see it on everywhere. Yeah. They'll see it on like Amazon or something. For a lot of people, that was like the Mummy back in the day, is a lot of people's like bisexual awakening, apparently. So this is going to be really interesting for a lot of people.
Yeah, when this hits Prime Video in whatever amount of time that takes, this is going to go crazy. And yeah, all of the bisexual iPad kids.
It's sad that it's not a family movie.
No.
But
never turn this on with my mom in the room.
But I can see like if you have older kids, like 18 and up, maybe you can't. It's fun. It's really fun. Like again, what did you say? It's sexless. There's not actually anything happening.
No, but there is locker room scenes with like so many penises.
Yeah.
What I will say,
children.
Also, not enough Europeans for a very European-centric sport. Yeah,
I love that.
American tennis is back, baby.
Yeah, bringing Andy Roddick back.
The funniest part of this movie, as a Black woman watching it, was they gave Zendaya 2.5 lines to like address that they were her little bitch ass white boys, and I thought that was hilarious.
Incredible line,
but it was so funny to me. Racism, yeah, with racism in this country, and yeah, you're my 2 little white boys. I was like, okay. I'm with it. Yeah. Sprinkle that in there so that we're like, there's some sort of awareness of it. I thought that was hilarious.
He said, I feel bad for Annie. She goes, don't. She's a racist bitch.
There's the other half line right there. Thank you.
Real quick. So I hinted at it at the very beginning of the movie, and we sprinkled it throughout. This writer wrote this movie. Celine Song wrote Past Lives, which is another movie about longing for the potential with another person. What is happening?
I really hope that they were like
Writing it at the same time?
No, they were both like the other people who were like longing for each other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like they each had their own other relationship, but they were longing for each other and they ended up together instead of the alternative, which is that each of them is longing for someone else.
I'm admittedly very problematic, but to me, both of these movies are just really, I think the thesis statement is dirty Mac your way to the top on both Past Lives and Challengers.
That's nasty. That's
the
so
challenge
nasty.
here is really, will you dirty Mac to get what you want? And I I'm being crude, but truly, like, both of these films were written where it's like, I'm literally going to talk to your person right in front of you. And like it's very clear that I'm in love and I want them. And the minute they give me an in, and I'm not doing it behind, I'm doing it right in front of you. And if I do it behind your back, I'm gonna tell you in the middle of a tennis match that I hit your girl. Like, it's just it's really intense.
Art and Haesung are doing the Predator Dap meme from in the middle of this movie. They're just like, hell yeah, brother.
It sounds like the best movies. Oh, look, the best music genre to me is dirty macking music. There's so many.
Dirty macking music's so good.
If you make a dirty macking song, it's gonna go crazy. And I might have to start saying that with film here. I don't know. Challengers is introducing that. Maybe, you talk about somebody taking your girl.
A very disgusting dirty Mac boy. He was, and the fact that Patrick liked it and was turned on by it is just insane. Patrick was like, "Yeah,
that's good writing, though. Like, I'm really proud of you, bro. Like, you got some dog in you. I'm still gonna fuck your girl."
That's alpha energy. Like, you think Dirty Mac is gonna help you steal my girl? You're never gonna be able to steal my girl. And well, funny how things work.
All right, that has been. Also, if you haven't seen Past Lives at this point, please go do it. Like,
it's incredible cinema. Very different than this movie. Very different. Yeah. Very different.
You can tell Past Lives was written by a woman.
Yeah.
And,
I should
this
know
one wasn't.
The double feature that Mo and I came up with for this film is Close. It's 2022. Very different tonally, but also uses sports as a sport as like a metaphor for intimacy. That movie uses ice hockey as a metaphor for kind of its longing in the middle of the movie. Incredible watch. Very sad watch at times, but incredible filmmaking. It would make a great double feature with this movie. Very different tonally, but it would a lot of overlap.
Yeah, it's close. 2020. It was supposed to come out in 2022, I believe. I think it's maybe close 2023 because of the pandemic. But I think, and to your point, Tej, I think the difference is how much more tragic it is and how much more like soft and delicate it is because of the age. But it's the same exact movie when it comes to By Curiosity and Love and Yearning and Sports. Same movie there. So yeah, I love it.
Is that on anything? Can we find that like streaming?
I know I should be better about that.
Yeah. I think it's on Amazon.
It's like it's a French film.
Shout out to Amazon. Yeah. Look at them. Clean it up.
So well done. Like, the director is extremely stylish as well. Just, it's unlike any movie you've ever seen. It's so.
You can find it on Paramount Plus, actually.
There you
go. We just looked that up. So yeah, that has been Challengers. Go watch it. You'll hear about it and see about it on TikTok, I'm sure, for the rest of the month. But also, real quick, because we talked about Oscars on this, this would have been a film 20 years ago, maybe further back than that, 30 years ago at this point, that wouldn't have garnered Oscar attention. Maybe Zendaya would be nominated for an Oscar, just like something like Glenn Close was nominated for what's that movie? Anyway, I'll find it. But
The Wife?
No.
The Glenn Close movie?
Back in the day. Hold on.
Oh, I know which movie you're talking about.
Fatal Attraction.
Yes.
And so something like that, like I think she was nominated for. So do we think that this will, because we don't get movies like that, where do we think this falls in like Oscars? It would have a long road to hoe for because it came out in April. But
it's going to win Best Score, despite the fact that Dune 2 will also be in contention. It's going to be nominated for Best Picture, I believe. I don't think it will win Best Picture. And I think it's going to give us a Zendaya nomination. I'm tentative with that.
I can't get there.
I don't know.
I hope it does.
I hope it does. But look, we had a tennis movie that made it into the Oscars. So a few years ago with King Richard. So I'm in.
Yeah.
Like, I'm thinking we got something going here. Maybe Best Picture. It seems like far, but like I think those guys over there, they like a little tennis.
Very similar movies in that a sociopath is doing everything that he can to push his protege forward. Yeah, very similar film.
I'm a good tennis sociopath. Keep making tennis sociopath.
So is Josh O'Connor gonna slap somebody at the Oscars?
Yeah, that was okay.
Yeah.
For the slap. I was waiting for it.
We can only hope. You know, we need the content. So we normally just by happenstance, we kind of just co-opted and stole this really from Mo, but we try to end every podcast with what we're watching. We'll start with Mo, like what you're watching, because I think all three of us saw a movie. We didn't want to do a full review on it, but we'll tell you about it here. But Mo, what are you watching currently?
So I just finished Shogun. We had an amazing chat on it. Thank you, TJ, for joining that. I'm starting Fallout. I'm watching Baby Reindeer.
Very good.
And I'm
what
really
is Baby Reindeer about?
It's about a stalker who's trying to clean up his life, and he's like a comedian, but he runs into like another stalker, right?
Baby Reindeer is about a dumb-ass motherfucker that gets himself in really fucked up situations, but it finds the humanity in being dumb as hell for these really fucked up situations. So yes, it's about a stalker, but you realize very quickly that it's not. I think that's just how they sell it. But it's about being very, 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 very dumb and finding humanity and making awful, awful decisions over and over and over again. And
just like me, for real.
I was gonna say, did they follow me around with a camera?
Yeah. It's that good. I think that's why it's number one on Netflix. However they calculate that, we'll leave that alone. But yeah, I'm watching When Evil Lurks. I'm getting deep into my bag again with like horror, and not like the horror mainstream, but like the horror you find on Shudder and Hulu and stuff like that. I don't know if y'all talked about what's the movie with the guy that is in the newsroom and he ends up being the devil or whatever. What's the name of it?
Late Night with the Devil.
Late Night with the Devil.
Well, after watching Late Night with the Devil, I was like, let me get into some like really camp B-movie horrors or even like horrors. So I've been watching When Evil Lurks. I watched Clove Hitch Killer today. I'm going to rewatch ICU. So yeah, watching everything.
When Evil Lurks apparently really fucked up.
It's super fucked up.
Yeah. So I haven't.
I'm enjoying it.
Oof.
Did you watch The Witch? It has like The Witch vibes by
yeah.
It has some of that in it. It's very good.
Yeah, I just heard it was like gruesome to watch, like bloody and stuff like that. So yeah, I love The Witch, but I'm just like, oof.
28 Days Later plus The Witch so
Oof.
far, and I haven't even finished. Yeah, it's intense. It's good.
So we all watched, and TJ, yeah, you did too. We all watched. What was it?
The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare.
The Ministry of Silly Walks. We watched the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, starring one Henry Cavill, and Dex and I liked it. It gets a hell yeah, brother, from me.
Okay,
exactly.
I was bored to tears. I was bored to tears.
Wait, how did
I was literally bored to tears? I don't know.
This selection.
It was out.
It was like the one movie that was out last week before Challengers had come back, and I thought we were looking for something to watch, and it got good enough reviews that I was like, yeah, I love an action romp. Let's go do it. I love Guy Ritchie. Why not? And I thought I was gonna have to convince Dex to go see it. He was on board. Then Tej texted and said, "This shit sucks," and I was like, what planet are we on?
I did not need another British World War II spy thing.
I need all of them.
I just didn't. And this movie has no personality. It has cool action scenes, but every time there weren't people physically fighting on screen, I was hating my time. I wasn't having a good time at all until people started getting cooked, which is not the way that I like my action movies. The action sequences are pretty cool. I think on my letterbox, I gave it 2.5 stars. I just did not. I also didn't really enjoy the last Guy Ritchie movie either. I think it's a Guy Ritchie thing with me. I'm not in Guy Ritchie hive. The Covenant was mid. That was the mid pack if I've ever seen the mid pack before. But the Covenant is better than this movie, I think. I enjoyed the Covenant more than this movie. But
I like both. I like both. I don't know what it's like. Go ahead.
I love me some Guy Ritchie. That's all I'm going to say. I have the time of my life with a Guy Ritchie film.
You know what I love about Guy Ritchie? Rich as hell, did like Aladdin and Sherlock Holmes, like does all those like one for me studio movies, and then he'll just like he pumps out a movie every year. He's just like, fuck it, we ball. Yeah, he's like, I'm in there.
Can we talk about the IP that is swaggerless? Sherlock Holmes. Not good.
No.
None of them. No. We can get rid of all of them. But we don't have to bring them back.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I've never seen any Sherlock property.
You don't need to see them.
I've seen like 2 episodes of Sherlock.
Brian, please suspend both of these guys from the podcast.
I'm about to boot y'all. Those Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes are like peak cinema. Those things are
okay.
Awesome.
They're good.
No.
They're all right.
I've never seen them. I just did not care.
Cumberbatch TV show. No version of Sherlock Holmes is good to you guys.
The Benedict Cumberbatch.
I've watched like 2 episodes of that Benedict Cumberbatch TV show. It was fine, but like
no way.
The concept of Sherlock Holmes not that cool. Guy that solves stuff.
It's the basis for every crime show.
For every show in the world.
Yeah. Not that cool.
It's never been on USA Network or anything. You solve things. You didn't like House.
I'm not gonna hold you. It took me until
House was okay. House is okay. I've seen some House. Sherlock Holmes, not that cool. Sherlock Holmes looking no bitches.
I was like 25 years old to be able to handle British television. Like I just could not do the accents.
It's
made for you. British television's made for you because it's like 5 episodes and they're like, get the fuck out.
I know. Like, I learned that later in life, but
Sherlock Holmes don't get no bitches. He just be solving crimes. He don't get no bitches ever.
First of all, bitches love him.
Yeah.
He's just not really worried about it like that.
And the bros love him in the Sherlock series too. Yeah, just saying.
What's the one with Lucy Liu in it?
I love me a BBC.
Elementary, where it's just like coming out at the same time as that Sherlock Holmes. They're like, what if we did 25 episodes? And people are like, okay, thanks. Yeah, Guy Ritchie, Ministry, like, look, dad cinema for sure. Is it dad cinema? If this was on TNT, it would play every day. And I appreciate that somebody is still putting out dad cinema for me.
This is literally a TNT movie. I agree with you.
Yeah.
This is literally a TNT movie.
That's
what's wrong with it. That's what's wrong with it.
Did it want to be a Kingsman movie?
No.
Not
kind of.
It wasn't as silly as that. Like it did. Like people are having a time of their lives in the movie, and it's filled with really hot people that you know. But like it almost doesn't take itself silly. Like it takes itself almost too serious at points. Like it needs to be even more silly.
Yes, it took itself way too seriously. That's part of the problem.
It wanted to be Kingsman, but it took itself too seriously.
Maybe a little bit. And like the subject matter is such that like it's a crazy concept because it's the basis for what James Bond actually is.
Yeah.
And so the concept like is weird when you think about it. It just needed to be almost way more over the top than it was to be like truly transcendent, I think. But it still lends itself to like really good. It needed more action in my point of view.
The trailer was all I'm lighting motherfuckers up. So there you go again with the trailer.
They do light a lot of motherfuckers up. It's like just 7 people just catching bodies just everywhere. There's like a hot dude just like chopping people up in a submarine with an axe.
You didn't like that, Cheese.
Like it's just cool.
It's okay.
Isaac Gonzalez, top 5 dead or alive. Like
that's true. That is like I text y'all. I was like, she might be all time, guys. Like it might be all time.
Woo.
Yeah. Like wolf whistles in the theater. It was just like gotta control yourself. But like I'm also watching. I've gone back. I don't know if y'all have seen this. Parenthood, which is like Friday Night Lights, but not football.
Of course, I've seen Parenthood.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Parenthood is so good, and it's just cry porn in the vein of like This Is Us family drama, and I really appreciate that show. It's on Hulu, Disney Plus. Also, wrapping up Abbott, which everybody in the world tends to do.
I need to catch back up.
I thought you were talking about the Parenthood film, not the TV show.
I actually watched that for the first time the other day too. So I went back. I love Steve Martin.
I love Steve Martin too.
I think he's
Steve
incredible.
Martin is him.
I've seen the movie Pink Panther at least 85 times.
Yeah, Steve Martin. Like it's if you love like Father of the Bride and stuff, and you haven't ever seen the original Parenthood, it's like proto is the first. It's proto Steve Martin dad, and it's really good in that way. So it's on Netflix. Go and watch it. It's a really like Ron Howard did it, which is crazy to think about, but yeah. Anybody else watching anything?
I'm catching up on Abbott. I'm letting BMF build up so I can actually go binge that because I've only watched the first episode of the new season. Everybody fucking hates BMF now. Everyone is slandering BMF now. I can already see that it's going to be pretty bad, but I just can't walk away from it. What else am I watching? I'm still watching X-Men. X-Men is him.
Oh, good.
Incredible television. Love what they're doing over there. We are very back in the MCU universe.
That's good to hear.
I think that's all I'm watching. I haven't started Baby Reindeer. I've heard great things about Fallout, but I never played those games, and I didn't like the trailer, so I was scared.
You don't have to. And like, I that is the other thing that I watched as well, Mo, is I watched all of Fallout. Amazon does this weird thing where they can't decide if they want to drop like half of a season, like with Invincible, and then wait a year and then drop the other half, or if they want to give you a binge. Fallout dropped all 10 episodes in a night, and then so I watched all of it, and I really appreciate it. Walton Goggins might be him. He's really
he's definitely him.
Yeah. So I also watched all of that. But Dex, what do you got?
Sports, all the time.
Playoffs.
I'm watching a lot of playoffs. That's why I'm not into any new shows. I'm letting everything build up because I've been watching a shitload of playoffs.
James Harden's back.
Turn that shit up.
Kind of. I mean,
James Harden's back. Kawhi is out. James Harden is about to carry.
All right. Well, that's my time, guys. All right.
Some people's goats are getting swept out here. Not everybody's goats get swept like that. Not everybody's goats go outside and get swept like some people's goats. That's all I have to say.
Wouldn't let that shit happen to me. All I'm saying. The NFL draft. Shout out to Nick Casario. Shout out to the Houston Dynamo and the Houston Dash. I've been watching all sports. I haven't watched any movies other than the two we just talked about. So
yeah. Real quick, Mo, have you seen, and Tej, maybe you've seen, have you seen Melancholia?
No.
With Kirsten Dunst.
No.
Okay, so yeah, it's fine. It's a Lars. It's
Kirsten Dunst is like, absolutely not. No.
Nope. It was kind of a breakout role for her post like Spider-Man. It was in 2011. It's from Lars von Trier, who's very polarizing to a lot of people, and was to me after I watched this film. But it's a really crazy, like well put together movie about depression and anxiety and stuff. And it's on Netflix if you need like art house cinema, but it is a wild ride, and I should not have watched it at 1 a.m. So anybody that's into that, but yeah, Melancholia on Netflix is another one that I watched. That has been a one take podcast. We did it, guys. We got another round of cinema in us. And I really appreciate it.
And my internet didn't fuck up. Thank God.
Yeah, Tej was with us the whole time.
That's I'm lucky. I'm the lucky one.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you, bro. Good luck.
Mo, where can they find you as always? Where can they find what you're doing?
What's up? It is Miss Peacherino from What We Watch. You can find me at whatwewatch.net, WW Film TV on X, Instagram, and make sure you tap into our YouTube. I'll go ahead and put this video on there. Subscribe at What We Watch. Miss Peacherino presents What We Watch. And guys, I'm going to announce it here too. My second annual film festival is coming.
Hey.
Real independent artists, real community, real rap. Like, I love it. I'm so excited. All the baddies will be here and all the extremely talented artists. It's August 24th. It's in LA. So all of y'all pull up.
August 24th. Where in LA?
So it'll be at the Gloria Kaufman Performing Arts Center.
Okay.
So yeah, look it up. It's a beautiful, gorgeous venue. We upgraded from the last one, even the last one was perfect. So I can't wait to see y'all pull up.
Yeah. Y'all be on the lookout for that. That will be on the calendar. Thank you so much, as always, for coming on. Thank you to all the people that watched and streamed us. We really appreciate that. It seems like we got more and more of these on Twitter, much to the detriment of people actually downloading the podcast. But hey, if you're watching us here, it's basically the same thing. So we really appreciate that.
Download it.
Yeah. Go please like, down and load. Let me try that again. Like, download, and subscribe on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Leave us a rating and review. We really appreciate it. That's One Take Pod. So number One Take Pod. And you can find this on YouTube as well if you want to stream this when you're not doing anything at work. And she's got balloons because we're celebrating another episode. Find us on Twitter again at One Take Podcast. Guys, as always, Dex, what are we doing?
Hashtag support Florence Pugh. We will be back.
As always. And we're out. Okay. Well, maybe. My computer is fucking up.
This is you today.
This is a great outro. Well,
this is a great. I'm going to leave all of this in because y'all can drop if you want to. I am going to have to figure out how to. My mouse just disappeared. So
your computer hates you.
I don't know what is happening.